Welcome to the world of Sakamoto Days, a place where deadly assassins roam the shadows, but one man has chosen peace over bloodshed. This is the story of Taro Sakamoto, a name once feared in the criminal underworld, now redefined by love, family, and the struggle to stay away from his violent past. Taro Sakamoto was once an unbeatable hitman, the top assassin whose name alone struck terror. But everything changed when he fell in love. Trading bullets for bliss, Sakamoto left behind his life of crime to become a humble convenience store owner. He gained weight, grew a mustache, and now lives a quiet, wholesome life with his wife and daughter. The peace doesn't last. However, the underworld isn't ready to forget him. As the story kicks off, Sakamoto is confronted by Shin, a former colleague who's been ordered to eliminate him for leaving the assassin world. But instead of carrying out the hit, Shin is quickly impressed by Sakamoto's skills and his unshakable sense of peace. Shin's revelation. Shin, who has the rare ability to read minds, realizes that Sakamoto hasn't gone soft. He's just chosen a new path. Despite his weight gain and calm demeanor, Sakamoto can still dismantle opponents with unmatched precision, all while avoiding lethal force. Shin, moved by his example, decides to join him instead. A new duo is born. Thus begins the duo's life working in the store, but it's not all groceries and gossip. The pair frequently face bizarre threats from hitmen, gangs, and shadowy organizations trying to pull Sakamoto back into his old life. Each time, Sakamoto handles things with flair, clever tricks, and non lethal combat, showing that peace doesn't mean weakness. Comedy meets action. What makes this arc special is the mix of absurd humor and stylish action. Whether Sakamoto's using frozen food as weapons or calmly dodging bullets while bagging vegetables, the story balances slice of life comedy with intense assassin drama. The introduction arc sets the tone for Sakamoto Days, a tale of redemption, action, and the hilarious struggle of a former killer trying to stay retired. It introduces key characters, the underlying conflict with the criminal world, and the unique charm of a protagonist who can be both terrifying and adorable at the same time. Voice tip: add a light, upbeat tone to the family scenes and a sharp edge during action descriptions. This contrast captures the core duality of Sakamoto's character. Welcome back to the wild and wonderful world of Sakamoto Days. In this chapter of Chaos and Cotton Candy, our favorite ex-hitman takes his family out for a wholesome day, only to get dragged into an explosive showdown. This, the amusement park arc, where assassins meet roller coasters. A family outing? Taro Sakamoto, his wife Aoi, daughter Hana, and new sidekick Shin head out to a local amusement park for a relaxing day. But peace is a luxury Sakamoto rarely gets to enjoy. Unbeknownst to him, a deadly assassin named Kashima has been hired to eliminate him. And what better place to cause chaos than a crowded theme park? Kashima enters the scene. Kashima, a calm and calculating professional, has a peculiar advantage. He has robotic limbs and weapons hidden within his body. He launches a covert attack right inside the amusement park, turning what was supposed to be a day of fun into a deadly battleground. Sakamoto's true colors. But if there's one thing this arc proves, it's that Sakamoto may be retired, but he's far from rusty. Without ever exposing his family to danger, Sakamoto springs into action with his signature combination of precision, creativity, and non-lethal takedowns. He uses everything in his environment, from churros to roller coaster tracks, as weapons. Shin steps up. Meanwhile, Shin is still adjusting to life outside the assassin agency. He's eager to help, but quickly learns he's still got a long way to go. This arc serves as a moment of growth for Shin as he begins to understand what it means to protect people, not just take out targets. Action on every ride. The choreography in this arc is absolutely top tier. Battles happen midair on roller coasters, behind carnival booths, and even in a mirror maze. It's the perfect blend of chaos, comedy, and clever fight scenes. Sakamoto's commitment to protecting innocent bystanders without shedding blood makes every confrontation more challenging and creative. A message without words. By the end of the arc, Kashima retreats, confused and frustrated. He doesn't understand why a man like Sakamoto would give up power for peace. But Sakamoto's silence speaks volumes. His life may be quieter now, but his resolve is stronger than ever. Narration tip: Use a fun, bouncy tone when talking about the theme park setting. Then shift to a fast paced delivery during action scenes to keep listeners engaged. Throw in a few light laughs to reflect the manga's comedic timing. Up next, welcome to the next stage of chaos in the Sakamoto Days saga, the lab arc, where secret experiments, shadowy enemies, and emotional flashbacks collide. This arc introduces darker themes, deeper character development, and raises the stakes for our unlikely heroes. After the dust settles from the amusement park battle, the spotlight shifts to Lu Xiaotang, the quirky, tech-savvy daughter of a Chinese crime syndicate boss. Her life takes a sudden turn when she's kidnapped by a mysterious and dangerous group linked to her father's past. Their goal? Revive her father's secret experiments on enhancing assassins, and Lu holds the key. The mission begins. Sakamoto and Shin quickly take action. They track Lu's location to a hidden laboratory facility teeming with traps, guards, and bioengineered threats. This isn't just another rescue, it's a deep dive into the underground world of weaponized science and assassin experimentation. Shin's growth. This arc gives Shin a major spotlight. He struggles with self-doubt but steps up in a big way. His mind-reading ability becomes increasingly crucial in navigating the lab's dangers. More importantly, he begins to realize that being strong isn't just about fighting. It's about being reliable when people need you. Science meets mayhem. Inside the lab, we're introduced to bizarre enemies, cyber-enhanced assassins, failed experiments, and morally twisted scientists who see life as data. The fights are unique, as Sakamoto and Shin must use quick thinking to defeat enemies whose bodies have been augmented with tech. Sakamoto's creativity. One of the highlights of the arc is watching Sakamoto use the lab's gadgets and environment to neutralize enemies without lethal force. Exploding vials, surgical lasers, and even lab equipment become tools of clever takedowns. It's all done with precision, efficiency, and a splash of humor. Lu's resolve. When the group finally reaches Lu, she isn't just a damsel in distress. Despite her initial capture, she shows off her own skills, using her intelligence and tech savvy to help turn the tide. Her bond with Sakamoto and Shin deepens, officially making her a core part of the team. Themes of trust and redemption. The arc ends with Lu safely returned, the lab destroyed, and the team walking away a little stronger, both physically and emotionally. It marks a turning point where the trio begins to feel less like a mismatched group and more like a found family. Narration tip: use a more serious and intense tone in this arc. Highlight the emotional beats and eerie setting when inside the lab, and then bring in excitement when the row prisoners arc summary, everything in one. Things are about to get savage. The Death Row Prisoners arc is where Sakamoto Days dials up the intensity, unleashing some of the most violent and unpredictable enemies the story has seen so far. The tone gets darker, the stakes get higher, and the battles get wild. The chaos begins. Behind the scenes, a shadowy figure known only as X is beginning to move. His philosophy? Destroy the assassin world and all its systems. To send a message, X orchestrates a jailbreak, unleashing a squad of insane killers, all death row inmates with terrifying abilities and zero regard for human life. Each of these prisoners is not just dangerous, they're practically monsters, driven by bloodlust, chaos, and their own twisted moral codes. They're not here for money or revenge. They're here to wreak havoc. A personal mission. The Japan Assassin Association, JAA, quickly identifies the threat, and agents are dispatched. Sakamoto, Shin, and Lu get caught in the crossfire as the prisoners begin targeting anyone connected to the JAA, especially assassins who've gone soft like Sakamoto. Meet the killers. Each death row convict has a different power and fighting style. From brute force brawlers to precision killers and those with psychological warfare tactics, this arc showcases high-concept fights with complex choreography. One standout is Gaku, a cold, sadistic fighter with a love for pain and carnage. His battles are brutal and unforgiving, and he quickly proves that even Sakamoto might not come out of this unscathed. Tactical warfare Sakamoto, while outnumbered, never backs down. His genius shines in every encounter, turning tables, using the environment, and saving lives with non-lethal yet impactful moves. Shin continues to evolve too, learning to anticipate more in battle thanks to his mind-reading ability. Lu's bravery. Lu holds her own too, not just as comic relief or tech support. She becomes a vital part of the action, showing her growth since the lab arc and proving she's no longer someone who needs saving. She's now a fighter. Casualties and consequences. Unlike earlier arcs, the Death Row Prisoners arc doesn't shy away from showing loss. Collateral damage becomes real, injuries are lasting, and the appearance of X, albeit brief, casts a looming shadow over everything, signaling a coming war. Ending note. By the arc's end, the threat is far from over. Some prisoners are still at large, X's motives are still unclear, and Sakamoto realizes that retirement isn't going to be simple. If he wants to protect his family and his peaceful life, he'll have to face the darkest parts of his past and prepare for what's next. Narration tip. Use a tense, dramatic voice for the battles and a slower, serious tone during the arc's heavier moments. Let the weight of the violence and threat feel real. This arc is about how fragile peace can be. ACC Transfer Exams arc takes our crew from street fights to the elite halls of the Japan Central Academy, the most prestigious assassin training institution in the country. What begins as a covert mission soon turns into one of the most creative and hilarious arcs yet. Mission? Infiltrate. With the emergence of the mysterious villain X and his growing influence, Sakamoto and the gang realize they need answers, and fast. Their lead? A connection inside the JCC, where assassins are trained and dark secrets are buried. To uncover X's motives, Sakamoto, Shin, and Lu undercover as transfer applicants. Their goal? Infiltrate the academy, gather intel on X, and find the legendary inventor Uzuki, who may hold the key to understanding the chaos that's unfolding. Assassins in uniform. The JCC isn't your average school. This place turns teenagers into killers. The entrance exams? Brutal. Shin and Lu must fight their way through survival games, assassination tests, and combat simulations, all while pretending to be regular applicants. New faces, new threats. This arc introduces a ton of new characters, from eccentric professors to deadly students. Standouts include Amane, a top candidate with incredible precision and a stoic vibe; Nagai, a cocky and flashy student who challenges Shin constantly; and even Atsushi, Sakamoto's old classmate turned teacher, who adds both mystery and mentorship. The academy has its own hierarchy, secrets, and internal politics, and it's not long before Shin and Lu realize just how deep the corruption goes. Shin struggles. Shin starts to feel the pressure of going it alone. His mind-reading powers help, but in a place filled with dangerous minds, it's not always an advantage. His growth is gradual but powerful, showing more independence, strategy, and confidence than ever before. Creative combat. Expect clever, non-traditional action scenes in this arc, from stealth-based sabotage to psychological chess matches during the exams. Lu also gets some spotlight, hacking systems, and navigating through traps like a pro. The bigger picture. As the arc progresses, it becomes clear that someone within the JCC is linked to X's organization. The academy might be training the next generation of assassins, but it's also a breeding ground for betrayal and hidden agendas. Closing the arc. By the end of the transfer exams, Shin and Lu successfully gain entry into the JCC. But the real mission is only beginning. There's more danger ahead, and what they uncover inside could change everything. Narration tip. Start with an upbeat spy thriller tone for the infiltration setup. Shift into energetic pacing for the exam battles, and use a curious, suspenseful tone when teasing the Academy's secrets and twists. Next up, the JCC arc, where Shin and Lu set up. The story kicks off with buzz around a massive public event, the Assassin Exhibition, a bizarre art gallery and expo featuring tools of the trade, famous figures, and historic weapons, all centered around the legacy of killers. It's flashy, dramatic, and ironically open to the public. But the exhibition hides a darker purpose. Behind the scenes, the event is actually a trap set by X and his followers, targeting JAA members, potential allies, and enemies alike. They plan to make a violent, symbolic statement against the assassin system. And the exhibition is their stage. The infiltration team, Sakamoto, Shin, Lu, and new ally Amane, infiltrate the event to prevent bloodshed and find out who's really pulling the strings. They're not the only ones undercover. Other assassins from the JCC and JAA are also hiding in plain sight, each with their own mission. Enter Kanaguri and the killers. One of the main villains of the arc is the returning psychopath, Kanaguri, the cinematic killer with a love for artistic murder. This time, he's filming the exhibition as his next masterpiece, a live slaughter with real assassins as his cast and the audience as collateral damage. But Kanaguri's not working alone. Several elite assassins aligned with X are also in play, including Gaku, returning with more bloodlust and sharper fangs, Slur, who lurks in the shadows with a plan to reshape the entire assassin world. Epic battles unfold. What follows is an all-out war inside the exhibition halls. Fights break out between JAA agents, X's rebels, and independent killers. There's gunfire in the art wings, blade fights near the relic exhibits, and sniper duels among crowds of unaware civilians. Shin versus Amane, Sakamoto versus Kanaguri, and team battles versus X's elite light up the arc with incredible choreography and mind games. Each fight isn't just fists and weapons, they're packed with emotion, strategy, and personal evolution. Shin steps up. Shin evolves majorly in this arc, not just as a fighter, but as a tactician. He starts using his mind reading ability in tandem with his reflexes to outmaneuver opponents smarter and faster than him. He's no longer just the sidekick, he's becoming a leader. The aftermath. Despite their efforts, X manages to make a major public impact, disrupting the fragile balance in the assassin world. The JAA is exposed, the civilian world is shaken, and many now question whether the assassin system should even exist. The arc ends with a bittersweet victory. Sakamoto and his team survive and save lives. But the war has escalated. X's ideology is spreading. The public now knows the underworld exists, and Sakamoto knows the next battle will be even bloodier. Channel the feel of a thriller action movie trailer, bold and theatrical for the event's flair, but shift into darker tones during the chaos and combat. Emphasize the moral shifts and Shin's transformation for emotional depth. The infiltration arc marks a pivotal moment in Sakamoto Days, where undercover operations, intense battles, and deep-seated conspiracies converge within the walls of the Japan Central Academy, JCC. Mission: infiltrate the JCC. After the events of the transfer exams, Shin successfully enrolls as a student at the JCC. However, Sakamoto, due to an active bounty on his head, is denied admission. To circumvent this, he assumes the identity of a teacher, allowing him to infiltrate the academy alongside Shin. Their objective: access the JCC's database to uncover information about the enigmatic figure known as X and his organization. Unveiling hidden agendas. As Sakamoto and Shin delve deeper into the Academy's operations, they discover that X's influence has already permeated the institution. The duo, along with allies like Nagumo, Shishiba, and Osaragi, uncover a series of mysterious events and hidden agendas that threaten the very foundation of the assassin world. Climactic confrontations. The arc is rife with intense battles, including Nagumo, Shishiba, and Osaragi versus Yotsumura and his assassins. Shin, Seiba Amane, and Byodo versus Club Jam, a formidable adversary with a penchant for psychological manipulation. Sakamoto versus Kanaguri, a cinematic killer who views real-life killings as his art form. Each confrontation pushes our protagonists to their limits, testing their resolve and unity. Aftermath and implications. The infiltration culminates in significant revelations about X's plans and the vulnerabilities within the JCC. While Sakamoto and his team manage to thwart immediate threats, the arc concludes with a looming sense of unease as the true scale of the conspiracy becomes evident. Narration tip. Adopt a suspenseful and intense tone to convey the high stakes and intricate plot developments of this arc. Emphasize Sakamoto Days finally pulls back the curtain on its most mysterious character, Taro Sakamoto himself. We've seen him as a doting husband, a goofy store owner, and an ex-hitman. But now we dive into the shadows of his past, where he wasn't just any assassin, he was the best. Flashback to the golden era. This arc takes us back in time, years before the convenience store, the dad bod, or the family life. We meet young, deadly Sakamoto, slim, cold, and ruthlessly efficient. He was the top assassin in Japan, feared across the underworld, and admired for his skill, strategy, and lack of mercy. We're introduced to his life as a JAA operative, his relationships with key figures like Nagumo, Uzuki, and even a younger version of Yotsumura. Through these memories, we begin to understand the psychological weight Sakamoto carries in the present. the turning point. But even among cold killers, Sakamoto was different. He started questioning the system. The blind executions, the manipulation by higher ups, it all started to eat at him. The final straw? A mission that pitted him against innocent civilians, where he made the ultimate decision to walk away. This arc gives us the powerful origin of Sakamoto's transformation, from elite killer to family man. It also marks the beginning of the JAA labeling him a traitor, setting the stage for the bounty that haunts him to this day. Meeting Aoi. The emotional center of this arc is Sakamoto's relationship with his wife, Aoi. We see how they met, how she influenced his life, and how her love and ideals pulled him from a world of violence. She wasn't just his love, she was his reason to change. It's heartfelt, tragic, and deeply humanizing. We also witness early signs of rebellion within the JAA. Former allies like Uzuki begin to show signs of discontent, foreshadowing the rise of X. These subtle threads link the past directly to the current war, making this arc critical to understanding the broader plot. Full circle. The flashback ends with Sakamoto's quiet departure from the assassin world and the start of his life as a shopkeeper. But we return to the present with one key realization. Sakamoto isn't running from his past anymore. He's ready to face it. Use a more reflective, cinematic tone to match the mood of this arc. Build empathy with the audience by leaning into Sakamoto's emotional struggle and contrast it with his cold, efficient killer days. Pause for effect during key emotional beats. A raid arc cranks up the action to new heights. This arc takes us into the heart of chaos, where our heroes are not just fighting to survive. They're racing against time to prevent a disaster that could tear apart the fragile peace between assassins and the world. The call to action. The story kicks off with an urgent mission. Sakamoto and his team are assigned to infiltrate a high-security prison where a dangerous criminal mastermind is being held. This isn't just any prison. It's a facility known for housing the worst of the worst, including key figures who were once part of the assassin world. But there's a catch. A new assassin faction has begun staging a massive raid to free their leader, a ruthless figure named Keiichi, who was once an ally of Sakamoto's from the old days. The mission quickly escalates into a full-blown rescue operation. Break-in and battle. As Sakamoto, Shin, and Lu break into the prison, they face waves of prisoner assassins, each more dangerous than the last. These aren't just low-tier criminals. Many are former top-tier killers who once ruled the underground world. The level of combat in this arc is ruthless and intense as the team fights their way through highly trained, deadly inmates. One of the most thrilling parts of this arc is watching Shin come into his own as a formidable fighter, no longer the sidekick, but a force to be reckoned with. His skills are pushed to the limit as he faces off against enemies who know no mercy. The prison's secrets. As the team moves deeper into the prison, they begin to uncover disturbing secrets about its operations. It's not just a prison for criminals. It's been used as a training ground for the next generation of assassins. The prisoners aren't just waiting to escape. Many of them have been groomed to become key players in X's army. Sakamoto and the gang quickly realize that the prison raid isn't just about freeing one man. It's part of a larger scheme to break out a whole faction of dangerous killers, potentially altering the balance of power in the assassin world. The final confrontation. The climax of the arc centers on a showdown with Keiichi, the mastermind who has been pulling the strings behind the scenes. It's not just a battle of brawn, it's a battle of wits, as Sakamoto faces off against his former comrade. The emotional stakes are high, as Sakamoto is forced to confront his past once again and the choices he made that led to this moment. But as the battle rages on, a shocking twist leaves everyone reeling. Keiichi's true plan is far bigger and more dangerous than anyone could have predicted. The raid was just the beginning of a much larger plot to overthrow the entire assassin network. Fallout and tension. After the raid is thwarted, Sakamoto and his team are left with a grim realization. The war isn't just about surviving the assassins around them anymore. X's influence is growing at an alarming rate, and the entire assassin world is on the brink of collapse. With enemies lurking everywhere and betrayals becoming more common, The stakes have never been higher. Narration tip: build suspense throughout this arc. Start slow as the team infiltrates the prison, then shift to intense, high energy pacing during combat. For the emotional moments between Sakamoto and Keiichi, slow down and add a reflective tone to highlight the weight of arc is a game-changing chapter in Sakamoto Days, bringing new threats, alliances, and shocking revelations. It's a wild ride of power struggles and high-stakes action where the true nature of the assassin world is revealed, and Sakamoto's place in it is tested like never before. The Rise of the Kings. The arc begins with the Assassin Kings, a secretive and powerful faction that has been pulling the strings in the assassin world for years. These kings aren't just powerful, they're nearly untouchable, each one a master of their craft, with influence that reaches into every corner of the underground. They represent the peak of what the assassin world can produce, and they're about to make their move. Sakamoto and his team are thrust into a deadly game when they learn that X's faction is seeking to take down the kings, disrupting the delicate balance that has kept the assassin world in check. To stop X's plans, Sakamoto must face the kings, a daunting task that could change the course of his life forever. Shin and Sakamoto's dynamic growth. This arc is pivotal for both Shin and Sakamoto, as they continue to evolve in both their skills and their understanding of the assassin world. Shin, who once struggled with his place in the world of killers, steps up as a force to be reckoned with. His growth is remarkable, as he faces off against some of the most elite assassins in the world. Meanwhile, Sakamoto is forced to confront his own feelings of guilt and responsibility. As the stakes grow higher, he begins to question whether he's truly done with the assassin world or if he's still bound to it, even after all these years. Fights and strategic battles. The arc features some of the most intense and high-stakes battles of the series, with Sakamoto and his allies taking on the King's elite fighters. Each fight is a test of skill, strategy, and resolve. The fights are brilliantly choreographed, showcasing the growth of each character. One of the most memorable moments comes when Sakamoto faces off against an old ally, a former friend now turned assassin king. This emotional duel is more than just a fight. It's about closure, forgiveness, and understanding the cost of their choices. The truth behind the kings. As Sakamoto and his team dig deeper, they uncover dark secrets about the Assassin Kings and their connection to the larger conspiracy led by X. These revelations shake the very foundation of the assassin world, as Sakamoto learns that the kings are not just powerful assassins, but have also been involved in corrupting the very institutions that govern the underground. The Assassin Kings have been manipulating the system to maintain their reign, and their plan to take down X is actually part of a much larger scheme to maintain control, even if it means sacrificing innocent lives. Endgame. By the end of the arc, Sakamoto and his team face a tough choice: join forces with the Kings to fight against X, or go rogue and challenge the system they've always known. The fallout from this decision will have massive consequences for both Sakamoto's team and the entire assassin world. The arc concludes with a climactic showdown that leaves the fate of the assassin world hanging in the balance. Sakamoto, Shin, and Liu are forced to reckon with their pasts, their loyalties, and the dangerous road ahead. With X's true intentions finally revealed, the path forward is more uncertain than ever. Narration tip: build a sense of anticipation and grandeur for the Assassin Kings. They should feel imposing and untouchable. For the emotional moments, like Sakamoto facing old friends, slow down the pacing to draw out the tension and moral conflict. Keep the tone intense and reflective throughout, especially as secrets are. Sakamoto Days Final War Arc Summary, everything in one. The Final War Arc is the epic conclusion to the Sakamoto Days saga, where every action, every alliance, and every sacrifice leads to a high-stakes clash that will reshape the world of assassins forever. The stakes are higher than ever as Sakamoto and his team face off against X and the forces that threaten to bring down everything they've worked for. The calm before the storm. At the start of the arc, things are tense. Sakamoto, Shin, and the rest of the team have been battling for survival and justice for so long that they can hardly remember what normal life is like. But just when it seems like they're gaining the upper hand, X's grand plan is set in motion, and it's more devastating than anyone could have predicted. X's goal isn't just to take down the Assassin Kings, it's about restructuring the entire world of assassins, tearing down the old power structures, and creating a new order where only the strongest survive. It's an ideology rooted in destruction, chaos, and the survival of the fittest, and it's about to turn the assassin world upside down. The war begins. The war starts with a massive assault on multiple fronts. Sakamoto's team is split up, facing different factions and powerful assassins. The battles are intense and unrelenting, pushing each character to their breaking point. At the heart of this war is a battle for control over the assassin world's future. While Sakamoto struggles to hold on to his old values of peace and redemption, Shin and the others find themselves questioning their own roles in this chaotic system. The lines between good and evil blur as alliances shift, and everyone is forced to choose sides. X's true motivation. The arc reveals the true nature of X's motivations, a desire to end the cycle of violence in the assassin world by tearing it all down. But X's methods are anything but heroic. In fact, they are as violent and destructive as the system he's trying to dismantle. X believes that the only way to end the bloodshed is by annihilating everything and rebuilding from the ashes. Sakamoto realizes that in order to stop X and save the people he loves, he might need to make a sacrifice he's not ready for. Old alliances fracture, and the stakes grow as the true cost of peace becomes clear. Shin's ultimate growth. This arc marks the ultimate growth of Shin as both a fighter and a person. He is no longer just the rookie or the sidekick. Shin embraces his role as a leader and tactician, stepping up to guide his team and challenge the dangerous ideologies threatening their world. His bond with Sakamoto deepens, with the two growing as father and son, each finding their strength in the other. Climactic showdown. The final battle is nothing short of legendary. Sakamoto, Shin, and their allies must confront X in an all-out, high-stakes war that pushes them to their limits. The battle against X is an explosive mix of strategy, raw power, and emotional depth. It's not just about defeating a villain, it's about ending a vicious cycle that's consumed their lives for far too long. As Sakamoto faces X, he's forced to confront his own past, his regrets, and the realization that his journey has been more about protecting the future than fixing the past. The final confrontation is more than just physical, it's ideological, with both sides battling for the vision of what the world should be. The conclusion. In the aftermath of the war, the world of assassins is forever changed. The old order crumbles, and a new peace begins to take shape, though it's clear that the scars of the past will never fully heal. Sakamoto and his team emerge victorious, but at a high cost. Sakamoto, who once believed that the only way to survive was through violence, now understands that true peace is built on the sacrifices made by those who are willing to change. The assassin world will never be the same, but there's hope that it can be something better. Narration tip. The final war arc requires a tone of grand scale and emotion. It's a climax, so amp up the intensity, especially during the battles. Slow down for the emotional moments between Sakamoto and Shin, capturing the gravity of their journey. Use a more reflective tone during the aftermath, emphasizing the changes in the characters.